2013 League of Legends All-Star Weekend live from Shanghai, China. I'm Joe Miller, along with the lovely Ifya Shocks de Potra. I know I can say it perfectly well,
really
Shocks. She actually told me not to say that at the start, but I thought I'd get it out there at the start of the day. We're joined, of course, by none other than the North American 2v2 team, Double Lift and X Special. First of all, guys, congratulations on that very fast victory.
Thanks. It was pretty easy.
So talk us through it, starting with the picks. How much of a set plan did you have coming into this game?
We didn't know much about the C team because, I don't know, we didn't really research. I mean, we researched them, but then they don't have that much information, and we just picked stuff that was strong and then banned stuff that we didn't want to play, basically.
It seems to me that the skills matchup is something that's right up the alley of your type of play in the bot lane. You could just go all in and just serve him. Is that the way you went into that, or?
Yeah, I love to go just get in there and blow people up. Generally, there's always the entire enemy team in my lane at 5 minutes, but this game, obviously it's just 2v2, so I'm able to actually play 2v2, and they got destroyed.
So along that line, and I know this is a question that a lot of people want to know the answer to, would you rather play a 1v1 lane, AD carries, only AD carries without a support player?
Me? No, I love playing with someone else. There's a lot of strategy to play with another player, and there's a lot of mind games when there's 4 people in lane instead of 2. I just really like playing 2v2. And
of course, you're playing with X Special here. How is that synergy going? Is that something is that a good combo, or?
Yeah, X Special's the perfect support for me. He's not too ballsy and all in, but he's not passive by any means. So he plays safely aggressive, just like me, and he's just a really good match for me.
Special.
I guess he's just like Goldilocks, oh, it's not too hot, not too cold, just right.
So let's move on a little bit from the 2v2 skill matchup. Next up, you guys are obviously going to be taking on the LPL All-Stars from China. How much work have you done? We heard a little bit from Dyrus earlier on. He said it's never been quite this much preparation, at least from his side. You're being almost a 7-man team with the manager and the analysts that you've had on board. How confident are you two going up against China, who have a pretty mean bottom lane?
Yeah, I'm a little scared of China as a team. They've proved that they were really good, but even though we're the underdogs and people expect us to lose, I think we're going to turn some heads.
You guys have a lot of experience, of course, playing in big tournaments. How much do you think the pressure will be a factor here? Of course, you're in the stadium filled with fans rooting for the Chinese team, so how are you deal with that?
I think this is the first tournament that I've been to where we weren't the big favorites. I mean, even at Worlds where we didn't do so well, people were chanting TSM was in LA. Here, it's not like that. It's nobody cares about NA. So I think if we beat the Chinese team, they'll care a little bit. And I hate to disappoint fans, but this time I kind of want to disappoint some fans.
So aside from this, the Chinese team, of course, which you'll have had to do a lot of work for, who do you think's the real danger team out there? I mean, you've got Europe, who are obviously a little bit outside of their comfort zone, I'd say, having to all speak a language that's not their first language. And then, the Koreans, you've got then the Garena All-Stars. Who do you think's going to be, if you beat China, they're waiting for you in the next round? Well, obviously it will be. That was a bit of a silly way to ask that one. But who do you think from the other side of the bracket is going to go through? Let's put it that way.
Korea has been lauded as unstoppable, so I definitely say Korea.
All right. Well, one last question for you guys. I know Double Lift, you've been saying in a lot of videos, I am so excited to be going to this event. So how has the experience been for you guys?
It's awesome. I love being in a new place and being with new people, and the All-Star team I get along with really well. And this has just been once in a lifetime. I really love it here.
I'm happy too.
All right.
Always good to be happy. Thanks a lot, guys. Congratulations on your win early, and good luck against the LPL All-Stars later on. So we're going to go over to Jack, Riv, and Demon, who are waiting up on the desk.
Thank you very much, Joe. So earlier today, we kicked off the All-Star Weekend with the semi-final rounds of the 2v2 and jungler skill competitions.
And in the 2v2 semi-finals, it was the North American LCS All-Stars Double Lift and X Special, double killing the Garena All-Stars Chowie and Mistake. Then it was the Korean OGN champions Prey and Mad Life taking down the first tower to beat the Chinese LPL All-Stars Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao, which means it will be Double Lift and X Special versus Prey and Mad Life in the finals of the 2v2 skills competition.
It's going to be a pretty awesome matchup. Those games are going a lot longer than I actually expected them to go in a lot of these situations, but they were also a lot more exciting than I was thinking they were going to be as well.
Well, North America's game didn't go on too long. that was
exciting.
That was pretty quick, and it was pretty exciting. But it's interesting to see how different teams have really approached it. You know,
Right.
how the different pairings and even the 1v1s have approached it. Some have just gone for the long game to go for the CS, push for the tower, or some have just gone, I'm just going to go all in for the kill.
And since there were two strictly different matchups in the two teams in the finals now, between NA and Korea, the entire distance for Mad Life and Prey versus immediately for North America, I want to see what happens in the final, because it's either over so quickly, or even if it's 10 minutes, I'm going to say that's pretty quick.
And it's been actually quite good fun. We've had fun. I don't know about you.
Absolutely.
We've had fun. We weren't sure how it would turn out and how it would be, but it's good fun to see. I mean, the fact that we are seeing these junglers go up head-to-head, we're seeing the support lanes going head-to-head, or I say support lanes, that's a little harsh because it's the AD duo lanes. Like
It's fun because we do see them in this situation, right? They 1v1 in lanes and whatnot, but they get to come back after that, you know, in those ones. This isn't anymore. Once you're dead, you're done, unless it's the 2v2. So it's a different mindset for them, and we are seeing different play from these players after a long time of the same.
Well, you've only got yourself to blame, that's the thing. I mean, we just saw it with Troll and with Diamond. We were just talking about it off air, actually. Troll just didn't look comfortable on Caitlyn. So whether somebody somewhere had maybe talked to him and said, you know, Caitlyn's really strong. If you can get Caitlyn, go for Caitlyn, and then he got it, and he was already thinking, damn, I wasn't meant to be in a mirror match, and this doesn't feel too comfortable now.
You can just see by the way Diamond was attack moving at the turret in that matchup, just getting harassed in under turret without taking turret shots. Showed a lot of experience on that type of AD carry champion, so he was definitely no match for what Troll was being able to.
And in that light, he played it smart, knowing that he kept having the upper hand advantage. He didn't try to do an all-in craziness. And you saw him, when Troll tried to assert some power, he would stand there and say, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm the sheriff.
Diamond was peacocking is what we call it. Sticking that chest out, it's like, I'm ready for this. Just come at me.
We're going to do that when you got double Thorns Blade and cloth armor against a dagger and a couple health potions. Come on, man.
You can't do that.
It's almost, you saw the buy coming in. The dagger was great because he was just hitting the turret, but he wasn't able to do that for another 3 minutes. If he was at the turret again, that would have been a superb buy, but it was reactionary, and he didn't think ahead.
Yeah, Diamond was just ahead of him from the very start.
Yeah.
First skill, Q over W on Caitlyn.
That's a big hurt there.
I just want to say, how awesome does this stage look? This is pretty good. This is pretty good. This is a good job for everyone that's been involved in this one. You've seen some of those extended crowd shots. You know, this is a pretty spectacular stadium.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier, 8,000 people in, and it's pretty packed too, because the stage is gigantic, but everyone in here actually has a really good view of what's happening. I want to see
look at it. Just look at that. How good is that? That is awesome right there.
You can see there's the IGWE section up on the right.
And that was us. That was us to the left, all lit up. And now lovely lights. We got a lot of people in front of us that are probably thinking, who are these guys? Because obviously we're not going to house. It's going to be the Chinese broadcast, the Tencent production. And it's great to actually mix in between them. But of course, the jungle semi-finals, it was the Korean OGN champion, Insect, that did manage to take down Safe Vicious. That Heimerdinger that he pulled out didn't quite work out, backfired a little bit. The second game, of course, as we just mentioned, it was Diamond Prox who shot down China's Troll, or Clear Love, as he's you know. Troll's a little bit more of an aggressive name right now. But that, of course, means it will be Insect versus Diamond facing off against each other in the jungle skill competition. And honestly, I think it's safe to say everyone in the world wanted to see that.
That's the match I wanted to see, too. We're not going to see Udyr versus Lee Sin, but hopefully we're going to get to see
Maybe we could have double Lee Sins.
Maybe.
Too much jumping around. Too much.
Can you imagine trying to follow that? That would be awesome.
It would be a testament to how good they are at kicking work.
I mean, Diamond Prox has come out and said he thinks Insect's Lee Sin is better, so I don't think he'd risk it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He said it recently in an interview, yeah. He said, actually, I think, I've not played it much lately. Insect's still playing it. He's better than me.
All these guys had to come into this tournament with more than one trick up their sleeve because Insect's not going to allow that through.
I wonder. You think they wouldn't let the Lee Sin through? Because we haven't seen any Lee Sin pick Sarbands. He's going to let it through.
Oh, yeah.
So the Caitlyn I meant. Like, what was used.
Right.
Like, the homework they have is just so pertinent.
They're definitely, they're not letting Diamond play Caitlyn again. That was a really good Caitlyn performance.
They're both definitely confident enough to let Lee Sin through. They're both going to be like, you want to bring it? I want to bring it. Yeah, I'll see what you got there. But, of course, you could go Zed as well. I mean, but the thing is, Zed, you kind of got to wait for 6. You kind of get to get the ultimate going.
No, I don't think Zed would be able to.
Yeah.
especially after watching the Wicked Soas 1v1 in the top lane.
Yeah.
You'd hit like level 5 and wasn't able to quite
Go for the Nudu. Of course, this is the All-Star weekend full of fun. The LCS will be moving into the summer split. That being said, what were some of you guys' favorites moments from the spring split?
I'm going to talk about NA a little bit.
Yeah,
and you're
sure,
more
go for
familiar
it.
with EU as well. We can just
Wait,
kinda
you
go
were there
back
as
to that.
well?
I was in EU for a little bit.
You were there for probably one of the best matches.
I was.
Yeah.
I'd love to EU. But North America, my favorite part just generally was how, from the start of the season, it looked very much like top 4 teams, bottom 4 teams. But by the end of the season, we saw GGU come in second. We saw Vulcan actually take 3rd place in the playoffs. And I just loved the progression throughout the season. Anytime a new team injected new talent, they improved. And anytime, seemingly, the lower teams played a game, they were better. And I just loved the progression throughout the season, how much better they got.
Yeah, you might say they upset the apple cart.
Oh,
I think they did. That was another favorite moment.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite had to be just the switch up in strategies that we saw throughout the whole time. In the beginning of the season, we were like, oh my God, everybody has Warmogs. And
3-minute turrets.
Then it was 3-minute turrets during Super Week, and then everybody kind of slowed down, and we saw different attempts at jungle, different attempts at the swapping lanes, the support AD mid, and everything just completely changing. But everybody, like you said, it came around to there not being a top and 4 bottom team because everybody embraced it. And it was crazy to see that much progression for each team throughout the season.
And on top of that, we also saw a lot of comebacks in these games. I know Curse was the #1 seeded team throughout most of the season, but that was because they were winning these late game games, losing the early game, farming up, and just taking them over. It showed me just over the progression. We had, what, 144 games or something? We were trying to work out on the plane how many hours we had, but it was just nonstop craziness.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And for me, for the European stuff, I mean, it was all about, there was so many bonkers matches, absolutely crazy games. You think of Wolves EG at Lille. That was crazy in itself. They all sat on stage together. It's nice and loud in here. But there was also, you think of Fnatic games, you know, Peke, the backdoor king. He managed to show himself. And then Froggen backdooring Fnatic as well. So absolutely tremendous matches. And I'm so looking forward to the next split because we've got 3 new teams in there that all really earned their spots. There was some aggressive stuff that had to happen to get in those spots, and it's sad to see 3 teams moving out of the LCS, but it's great to see 3 new ones coming in.
Yeah, in both regions we saw a fair bit of turnover, and like as much as you love or don't like seeing the teams that we've learned to kind of grow with drop out, you do have to applaud the other teams for being able to beat them from the amateur circuit without having the LCS practice facilities really in there to grow. And I think the LCS next split is just going to be even stronger.
Well, I mean, for me, if you look at the summer split, and I've talked about it on Twitter before, and it's the 8 mid lane players we now have in Europe are all phenomenal. They are all so good. And you look across the lanes, there's just so many new players that have come in. Hell, we've got Tabs as the AD carry. Is it AD carry? He's like the mid lane Fizz. If he pulls Fizz out, I'm going to lose my marbles when it happens at some point. But because you think of what we've had already in the LCS, we've had lane swaps. This could happen. It could suddenly go, well, we're going to let it through. Bam.
You know, something else that bolstered these teams as well was the roster swaps. A lot you'd think would cause chaos. Some people embraced it and caught themselves at the top of the charts.
Well, GGU was fun. GGU was the best example for that.
That was an accidental roster swap.
And it worked so well.
That was one of those. Bloodwater ended up leaving the team. They were looking for a local support, and they picked up one of the best supports in North American LCS. Just because he was local.
Just he'll do. He's in LA. He's nearby. We'll have to have that guy. I mean, what are you guys looking forward to seeing in the North American LCS this one summer split?
I want to see Quantic. They looked so impressive in the qualifiers. They didn't drop a game. Meteos didn't die any of the games.
It didn't die in the promo. That's crazy. 3 games.
I like the fact that Lemon Nation brought so many 80 carries essentially into the LCS. Wild Turtle and Neon Tonsa were both former 80 carries for Lemon Nation. Now he's got Sneaky Castro and maybe a slightly different name when he comes into the LCS. But I really want to see that team progress and just how good are they.
And you guys have got Maple Street and Odd One now. It's a whole new brother conflict. Right?
Yeah,
brothers.
Absolutely.
We lost some of the brothers.
Yeah, but we got, Mackler and Makata, both in there, Meteor Makers, so we've got the pairing in there. So the brothers seem seemingly strong in the LCS. Of course, now let's send over to Shox and Joe because they're over at the interview lounge with some more special guests.
Thanks a lot, Demon. Right now, Shox and I are happy to be joined by the American L-Stars. All-star players from the LCS, of course, Skara and St. Vicious. First of all, guys, I'm going to start with you, St. Vicious, because we've just seen you most recently on stage with the Heimerdinger, which was so close to actually pulling through for you. Talk us through that game a little bit.
I can barely hear you. I don't know, it was a really close game. Like, I think if I hit some of my grenades, I would have won the game. Like, it's like 2 or 3 auto attacks off the turret, and I went into that game like wanting to take the turret. I didn't want to kill him. I didn't want to get 100 CS. I just wanted the turret.
Scar, you had your matchup yesterday against Alex Ish. Didn't go perfect. Can you tell us what happened there?
Well, I played Lulu against Quinn, and I accidentally forgot to change flash off my summoner key. It ended up really badly because Alex just got good trades and just all in me on one time. I flashed but still died away. Anyways.
Do you think that Quinn is a good option to play in the actual games that are coming up, or?
I actually think Quinn is excellent in 1v1, but in 5v5 she needs a little bit more love.
So talk us through what's coming up here, because you guys in just a few moments are going to go down onto the stage and take on the LPL All-Stars from China. How much work have you done specifically for this game?
I mean, we did the boot camp all week. We pretty much focused all of our effort into preparing for China. Like, that was our goal. We want to beat them on their home turf, and it's going to be a 2-0 either way. Like, we're going all out or we're going home, you know?
Yeah, you guys have trained a lot. So what would you say is the thing that you've improved on the most as a team and something you actually really needed to work on?
I just think communication. Like, we were horrible at communication. Now we got pretty good. Like, I would say we actually sound like a real team instead of just like a mix of solo queue players.
So what have you actually done as a team? Because, you know, we've got, if you look at your 3 players from one team, you guys are a real mixture. What did you focus on right from the start? Like, where was the, you know, what was point 1 on the big plan of how to win the All-Star weekend?
I think we focused on what our strengths are, and we broke them down, and we broke down our weaknesses, and then we looked at China and what their weaknesses are, and that was like all the preparation all week. It was just how we can exploit their weakness and how we can benefit from our strengths.
Well, guys, I'm not going to keep you too long because you need to get down on the stage and get prepared for your next game. Good luck with that one. Thank you, Shox, for joining me here. We're going to go back over to the desk, though, with Freak, or not Freak, with Jat, Riv, and Demon.
You got everyone but Freak here, unfortunately. Thank you very much, Joe. Earlier today, of course, we asked you all watching at home, send us your most pressing questions and we'd answer them for you. And now is, in fact, the time to do that. We promised. So let's see what they are. Okay, so... Whew. This to me seems like a Finnish name, so Peter probably is wrong. Peter Volp, I'm so hyped for the collection of matches. What's your favorite part of being there? God, there's a lot.
Right now, my favorite part of being here is the environment.
Yes.
Yeah. Just the venue and the stage and the players will amplify these matches.
It's an adrenaline drip.
Well, look, you can see behind us going on right now. There's like some crazy cosplay going on with like fighting going on. There's a couple of Zeds on the stage. They're about to kick off. It's all been going crazy. You heard the quadra kills coming out during the interview there. It's pretty aggressive stuff.
All right, so next up, Flea asks, hey, casters, who do you believe will cause the most trouble on the look at All-Stars?
Man, that's a good
China?
question. China. The most immediate trouble is China.
Gonna be problems.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's a specific question.
Yeah.
I would actually say probably Messiah, just because he is like a. I think so. You probably have different opinions.
Well, I mean, Messiah Scara is a tricky thing, but Messiah's actually been having problems.
He has been slumping
in the LPL.
Yeah, he has been slumping. I just feel like the target ban for China is going to be at Scara. So then Messiah, just because he's so experienced, might be able to take him down, because we know they're going to have to spend bans on him, but he's used to it.
And this is something that we've discovered in North American LCS, is actually you ban out Scara's 3 main champions, suddenly they fall into troubles.
It has happened a lot.
All right, so as we move on, Nolan Poley asks, most think the Koreans are going to dominate, but who do you guys think is the strongest team right now?
That is a very loaded question.
Yeah.
The strongest team right now, at least coming into this tournament, I feel like people think the Koreans are the favorites.
Yes.
Yeah.
So based on star power,
For all star power.
it's got to be the Korean OGN Champions team. So,
But we mentioned it in the opening ceremony, is that the fact that everybody is not talking about the Korean All-Stars. These have 3 members that won the Season 2 World Championships. They snuck in that time. Nobody was talking about TPA, and they went and dominated it. Nobody's talking about them again.
And every time we've been prepping for this, we're so focused on the other teams that we have tons of research potential for. And we're just like, are we forgetting about the Korean All-Stars again? Like, are they just going to sweep everyone and just dominate? Could happen.
It could happen indeed. And well, I mean, there's still a long way to go. There's the best of 3s. There's not a lot of action. I'm pretty excited for this. Keep, of course, the questions coming to us at LOL Esports. And remember to use the hashtag All-Star.
All right, I know we've already had a ton of action here in Shanghai, but the good news is after 4 epic skill matches, we're not even halfway through this incredible day of gaming. Coming up, it's the first 2 matches in the All-Star Team Tournament. The North American LCS team will kick things off when they take on the Chinese LPL All-Stars. And then it's the Korean OGN champions facing off against the European LCS All-Stars.
And these matches could mean the world to these teams. The winner of these games will move into the semi-final round of the tournament and guarantee their regions a top seed bye out of the group stage at the Season 3 World Playoffs.
And the first matchup, let's just talk about this right off the bat. I feel like the North American team versus the Chinese team will have so much to do about the Chinese team's synergy. Because WE has been a farm team. They win by just getting a huge goal lead and winning if you come to fight them. Whereas IG wins by usually bringing like 5 initiations and initiating every single champion and just fighting all the time, just based off the LPL games we've been watching.
Yeah.
And which team is going to be coming out for them is going to decide a lot.
And it's interesting because obviously PDD is in the top lane, and you think he's playing with a different jungler, so is he going to go a little too aggressive? Troll's not quite going to be there on the same wavelengths, because you've got to feel that Troll is just going to waver towards Messiah and Wei Xiao in the bottom lane and the mid lane, rather than helping out PDD in the top lane, because he's just not used to playing with him.
And for Troll, not used to playing with PDD as well, but if you consider the way PDD is used to playing in jungle, you look at IG's team, and their jungler doesn't get farm, seemingly at all. PDD and ZZ Tai on IG, ZZ Tai not in the All-Star game, farm everything, no farm. But what Troll likes to do is farm his top laner's lane frequently. So they have to figure something out. Someone is going to have to play with a lot less farm.
Yeah, because PDD's a fighter. He is going to have that farm to go into a fight. He's known for his champion, known for his Malphite, known for his Renekton. If he doesn't have that farm, you can't be the unstoppable force.
And it could really hurt PDD because he loves to initiate. Like, I can't imagine watching a PDD game where he has shared farm and can't initiate.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
In the same vein, you got to look at Wei Xiao down the bottom lane. He's playing with a support, and actually some may say that Xiao Xiao may be better than FCZF, so they are going to be a strong partnership. And maybe, just maybe, we've already heard it with Double Lift and Egg Special, how well they're getting on. Maybe they've just thought, actually, we really get on well, and it suddenly may make Wei Xiao a little bit more aggressive. He's normally, like you say, the farm master. He'll be in your jungle taking your red while you're being pushed back into base, and then he's just gone around. You come back and he's like, it's been again. Yeah. But he always plays well when the big tournaments happen.
And I really want to see just the Wei Xiao versus Double Lift match.
Yes.
Everyone's been wanting to see that forever because especially for North American fans, because Double Lift thinks everyone is trash except for Wei Xiao.
Yeah.
And how is that actually going to factor into the way he plays against him? He's got to come in with it with his general attitude, because that's just the way Double Lift plays. If he gives Wei Xiao respect, we're just going to out-farm him and just crush him into the turret.
And do you think they'll play against each other? Do you think they'll have 2v1 lanes or 2v2? Do you think they'll maybe be...
PDD loves the 2v1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dyrus is also a really good 1v2 laner. Based on the way the game's been getting played recently, I don't think they're going to lane up against each other straight away. But there will be moments in the game, I feel like, where they're fighting each other. It's the way the game evolved at this point, you almost never see the two people laning straight up against each other.
So, I mean, also, I just want to briefly ask you about the two junglers. Saint Vicious against Troll. I mean, how do you think this is going to work out? Because they're Saint Vicious alongside Scar. I think he's going to have to help Scar out, surely.
I feel like Saint Vicious, if there's a lane for him to help out, it might actually be the bottom lane or the top lane, just based off the interviews they've been talking about, because Saint Vicious says Scar is the consistent one, and he actually doesn't work amazingly with him because Scar is just always farming.
All right, we'll have to see. Coming up next, the North American LCS team takes on the Chinese LPL All-Stars in the first match of the 2013 All-Star Team Tournament. The 2013 League of Legends All-Star Weekend live from Shanghai, China will return right after this.